let's talk about a concept that sounds so simple, but it just consistently breaks the human brain: infinity. And by the end of this, you'll get exactly why your mind hits a brick wall every single time you try to really picture it. Okay, let's try a quick mental exercise. I want you to genuinely, right now, try to imagine something. Something that truly, actually, never, ever ends. Go on, give it a real shot. Did you do it? Or did your mind kind of stall out? Yeah, if it did, you are not alone. The real question is, why does that happen?
Well, here's the first trap our brains fall into. We hear the word infinite, and we immediately swap it out for something that's just really, really big or incredibly long. But here's the thing. Infinity isn't at the far end of the measuring tape. It's the complete absence of a measuring tape. It is truly, completely limitless.
So this is the central mystery, right? Why can we talk about infinity so easily, but when it comes to visualizing it, we just can't? Well, it turns out the answer is hardwired into our very evolution.
First, let's look at the hardware we're all running on. Our brains weren't designed in a lab to ponder the mysteries of the cosmos. Nope, they were designed for one thing: to keep us alive.
I mean, think about it. Survival is all about the finite. The distance to the nearest water source, the number of predators in the area, the edge of your territory. Everything has a limit. Infinity? It was an absolutely useless concept for our ancestors. It offered zero survival advantage, so evolution simply never gave us the mental software to process it. So, since our brains can't actually grasp limitless, they cheat. They do the next best thing. They deploy a little mental shortcut, a kind of illusion really, to make the problem manageable. So when you try to imagine infinity, what does your brain actually do? It probably just jumps to a huge, but still manageable number. Like maybe 1,000,000? You can almost get your head around that.
Okay, what about 1,000,000,000 or 1,000,000,000,000? You're just adding zeros, right? It feels like you're climbing a ladder of numbers. It feels like you're getting closer to the top. But here's the thing about that illusion.
You're not getting any closer. A trillion is no nearer to infinity than the number 1. And why is that? Because they are both fundamentally finite. You can always just add one more. Infinity isn't the top of the ladder, it's realizing that there is no ladder at all. And this is the crucial shift in thinking you have to make. Infinity is not a number. It's a concept. It describes a state of being that has no boundary. The moment you stop treating it like a number you can almost reach, you start to understand why it's so mind-bending. And this is where things get really, really weird. When we try to apply the normal rules of logic and math, our common sense, to the idea of infinity, everything completely falls apart.
Take this paradox, for example. Logically, it feels like there should be half as many even numbers as there are whole numbers, right? I mean, you're literally skipping every other one. But mathematically, in the bizarre realm of infinity, the set of all even numbers is considered the exact same size as the set of all whole numbers. That just feels completely wrong. And it feels wrong because our brains were built for a world where these rules just don't apply. So here's what's happening. 1. Your brain is a pattern-matching machine. It expects consistent rules. 2. Infinity shows up and doesn't follow any of the normal rules. And 3, your brain just gets stuck. It's like a computer program hitting an error it was never designed to handle. It just freezes.
Which brings us to the final, and maybe the most crucial, piece of the puzzle: the massive gap between knowing something logically and being able to truly see it in your mind's eye. Our own lives are the perfect example. Your life has a definite beginning, a "you are here" marker in the present moment, and we all know there'll be an end. Everything we ever see or touch or feel is contained within these finite boundaries. And because you can't directly experience something that is endless, your brain has no reference point to build an image from. It's like trying to imagine a color you've never seen. You can know it exists, but you just can't visualize it. And this is the fundamental divide. On one hand, you have the concept. We can logically understand that you can always add 1 to any number, forever. But on the other, you have visualization. You can't actually picture an endless string of numbers. You might accept that the universe could be boundless, but you can't form a mental image of no edge. That's the imagination gap our brains simply cannot cross. So what's the big takeaway here? Well, infinity reminds us that our minds are powerful, but they definitely have their limits. And maybe that's the most fascinating part. Recognizing that there are concepts out there we can understand with math and logic, but may never truly, deeply, and intuitively feel or see. So I want to leave you with a question.
Putting infinity aside for a moment, what's the biggest or most complex idea you've ever really tried to wrap your head around? Let me know down in the comments. I'm genuinely curious to see what you come up with.
If this explainer stretched your brain a little, give it a like. And if you enjoy breaking down these huge ideas, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next dive into the fascinating limits of our world and our own minds. Thanks for watching.